Well, hello. I'm Jim Bennett, the old gardener, but I've got enough gardening experience, and I've been a gardening teacher, horticulture teacher, master gardener teacher, so long. I've got some great stuff for you today. You know, this week we will have the first day of fall, and I think it's going to be on a Wednesday. I'm glad you decided to come by and see these tips, because I think they're going to be very helpful and something that you really might want to try. Well, let me have a seat here with you. Some of these tips, you know, if this is the first day of fall, winter's not far off, and Christmas isn't far off. The first tip I want to share with you is to, if you use a live Christmas tree, don't throw it away. It makes a great trellis when spring comes, and especially the young kids love this. Grandchildren, children, school-age kids, even people my age think it's a cool idea. So what you can do is you use that old Christmas tree for a trellis. You can plant different colored beans around it, the orange, yellow beans, green beans, purple beans, and they'll just grow up that Christmas tree, and they'll decorate it all again. And you can have a Christmas tree that will just excite the kids and people of all ages to no end, because it'll be redecorated God's way. Also, you can put some squash around it, vining cucumbers and flowers and stuff, and that old Christmas tree will just come alive again. And the great part about it, usually there's cedar trees or pretty sturdy pine trees that once they drop the needles, they'll last for 2 or 3 years, and you can collect 2 or 3 of them, okay? Here's some other things I want to share with you. Right now, if you're really hooked on fresh lettuce, radishes, cucumbers, and things like that, this is nothing but a new potting soil bag. It's a small one, so I could move it around, but it makes a great container. And you can plant 1 or 2 cucumbers in it, and you can use the little compact cucumbers, or you can plant this whole thing with lettuce, or half with lettuce and some with radishes. And of course, radishes will be up for you to eat in 3 weeks, and they're delicious. You can move this inside and outside. If the weather gets too cold, below freezing, move it inside. If you live in a subdivision, you can put it in a wagon, or you can even use a wagon, fill it full of potting soil, and you can move it in and out. But anyway, you get the point. You can fill a wheelbarrow, and you can grow carrots in that, and even carrots in a wagon. You can get larger bags of potting soil, and it's a great way of doing things. For instance, you can also use these old plastic spoons and things. This is a plastic spoon that I picked up, and it says sunflowers on it, and it's the date 4/18/20 that I used earlier, and you can use that for markers. You can use the knives for lifting plants out of the way. You can use the fork for for posting the rows, and when you open a packet of seeds, open them from the bottom, not from the top. And that way they won't fill up with water and deteriorate, and you can slide them into the forks between the tines of the forks, and they'll stay there, because what they are, they're pinched and crinkled, and they'll just hang there, okay? Here's another one that I wanted to share with you. This is some compacted potting soil. Now, I just pressed it down this morning so we could use it for this. But if you're bringing your house plants in about now, be sure to wash them up real good to get the slugs off the bottom. And most potted plants, container plants, have a hole in the bottom, and that's where the slugs like to stay. So mix you up a little solution of a couple of tablespoons, a quarter cup of Clorox and some good detergent, and just wash off the bottom of those. And then you put them in a holding area somewhere, like in a garage for, a week, so that whatever's in it, lizards or anything else, might evacuate the area. Leave that plant alone. But here's one of the things I wanted to show you. I think this is a neat idea. If you have plants, house plants, containerized plants that have not been repotted for 2, 3, 4 years, this is something you might want to do. This is nothing more than the cheapest brand of club soda, but it is a sodium-free club soda, sodium-free. And so now what I want you to do, it means it has no salt in it, so it's not going to damage the plant. So it is just packed full of carbon monoxide, okay? And here's what you can do. You can pour this in over the root ball or the rooting area of your containerized plants, and it will just bubble up and loosen the soil to no end. You're going to find it to be a real aid. And if the potting soil that has been planted in the soil has gotten acid from fertilizers, the carbonation in this is going to help neutralize that acid. All right, that's a great way of doing that, and the plants will love you for it. It'll perk up. Here's one that was on my mind, and I wanted to share it with you. Epsom salts. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story. This happened many years ago, and I learned this the hard way. I used to have a network television show. There was a gardening show named Backyard America and Weekend Gardener. And anyway, we had a test garden, and a garden that we worked out of as far as the show was concerned, where we shot the show. And we had turnip greens, mustard greens, collards, all kinds of things like that, leafy vegetables, lettuce, all growing in that garden. And we found out if we put some liquid nitrogen and a lot of Epsom salts on it, the lettuce, the turnip greens, the mustard greens, the spinach grew up, and they had these big gigantic leaves, and they were almost black green. They were beautiful. And so after a while, we'd shot the show. We cut the spinach and the lettuce, and we sent it home with the crew and everybody, and I had some, and we all cooked it. We were in a bad way for about 3 days. What I want to tell you is this Epsom salt is a great additive that you can use around your plants, but don't overdo it, because it can be systemic in leafy vegetables, and it is a laxative is what it amounts to. Epsom salts is magnesium sulfate. It's a laxative. And anyway, the leaves of these plants absorb this laxative to the point where everybody broke the laxative habit. We had the Johnny Two Steps, the Turkey Quick Steps. We had the industrial strength blow-by, everything that you can name, and we didn't shoot a show for about a week. So just a heads up on the Epsom salts. Don't overdo it. It can be a systemic. It's not going to bother fruiting plants like tomatoes and peppers and those types of things. It probably could if you really overdid it, but it would probably kill the plant before it got to that point. But just something I wanted to share with you. Something else I wanted to share with you is that these cups, they can be thrown away. Being a pastor for 21 years, I would recycle stuff. I'd stand beside the trash can. I'd go through the tables after everybody would left, and I would pick up the plastic cups and the plastic forks and spoons, and I would recycle them in my garden. But this makes an excellent thing because it can be a cone to cover plants with that are young, even in the fall and even in the spring. All right, and if you're spraying something out there, it protects them as well. After you get through spraying, remove it. Another thing that you can do with our grandkids and great-grandkids, we set them up in our driveway and let them drive their bicycle, tricycle, you know, around them and through them, and they had a blast acting like they were driving a car and were being a grown-up. Well, I sure enjoy you being with us. Gardening is a special thing. You know, we plant it, God grows it. Gardening is a lot like life. Expect the unexpected in gardening because it teaches you to deal with things and it teaches you to overcome. And when you expect the unexpected, you're always ready. Always walk through your garden on a daily basis. Me, I walk through it in the morning, at noon, and the afternoon, and I'm always out there tinkering. But I'm keeping an eye out for things that shouldn't be there. Slugs, bugs, pests, white flies, and even wild animals, raccoons, foxes, and those types of things. So I keep them out of the garden. You know, just remember this. If it wasn't for an occasional problem in our life, we would never know how great God is and how important prayer is. Because with these problems and with these challenges, we can pray. And I encourage you to learn to pray. There's no bad prayer. Just start praying. The best way to be a good prayer warrior is to pray often, pray a lot, and pray from the heart. This is a new venture for me. If you've enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, like it. Even subscribe if you would, and tell your friends about it, because there are going to be a lot more tips coming. And we've got a bunch of them lined up for you. In fact, I wrote them down on paper, and I've got 120 different tips that I think that you will enjoy. God bless you. We'll see you in church or the synagogue or your place of worship, or do your devotional. Think good thoughts and try to do something that will make your community, your state, this nation a better place. God bless you.